I think today the best way to do it is just to turn it over to Zovig and let her do her thing. Get ready to take some notes. There's some really good stuff ahead. So Zovig, take it away.
All right, thank you, Steve. Morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the country, in the world. It's good to have you all here. Happy Friday. I'm Zovig Garboushian, and today we're going to be talking about reinventing your ideal client. So as I'm going through this content, I definitely want you to put your questions in the chat. I'm going to ask you some questions, or put your questions in the Q&A, and then I'm going to ask you some questions throughout, and you can drop your answers into the chat. I'd love for this to be as interactive for you as possible. So let's go ahead and get started. Just a quick intro. Let me get on my right screen. Here we go. So I'm Zovig Garboushian. My chapter is the East Side Connection, it's Bellevue, Washington, just east of Seattle. I am the founder and head coach of Boldness Ablaze Coaching, and I have all these letters after my name, so it sounds very important. I coach high-achieving, high-performing women to go after what they want boldly and unapologetically. I'm a certified coach. I am certified in organizational change. I'm a consultant for a lot of the big tech companies here out in Seattle, from Microsoft to F5 to Google and several others. I'm a group trainer and a facilitator, which is really where my heart lies, is being with people in big groups. So I love being here. And then I'm originally from California. I lived for 17 years in New York City. I worked in advertising and marketing. And then I moved to Seattle about 3.5 years ago. So I'm happy to be here with all of you. And let's kick this off. Okay, why are we here? We're here because we need to talk about something. We need to talk about reinventing our clients. Now, before I get started in the meat of this, I want to ask all of you a question, and this is where you can just drop your answer into the chat. When it comes to your business, who has felt any of these things? Just put an A, a B, a C, a D, or an E. Maybe you've experienced that you're starting to feel a little bored with the same old same about your business, or you wish that you felt more excitement about your clients. Maybe you've hit a plateau with your business, or you're at a point where you feel like you can do your job in your sleep, like, I got this, I know how to do this, I've been here before, I've seen this before. Maybe you haven't even defined your most ideal referrals or clients yet. So I'm seeing some stuff pop up in the chat. Great, so we got some E's, awesome, haven't defined. B, wish that you were more excited. Let's see, E. Where else? Got a lot of E's, gang, E's and B's. Cool. C, all right, hit a plateau in your business. Yeah, that happens. It happens when you get really good at your work. You hit a plateau, right? C, E, a little more. B, wish you were more excited about your clients. Leah says A through E. So she's experienced all of those things. D, Angel feels she can do her job in her sleep. Yeah, that's what happens when you get to a master level at your job, right? I can do this, and it doesn't take much for me anymore. Thank you so much for all those responses, everybody. So the good news is that if you're feeling any of those things, it's not them, it's you. And the beauty of that is that it's in your hands, right? That means that you get to look at why you're feeling that way, what it is that's causing you to feel that way, what's shifted, what's changed, what's different for you. And then you get to put into action ways to make that different. So it might be time for you to look at your clients through a new lens. It might be time for you to reinvent who your clients are to you, what they mean to you, how you relate to them. And it might also be time for you to reinvent who you are to them, because you change over time, you expand, you grow, and maybe your clients don't know all that you can offer them, the new levels of service that you can provide to them. And it might be time to get reconnected with your why. And this is a big one. And I emphasize this one because we as business owners, entrepreneurs, high achieving professionals, we can get caught in the day-to-day of things and the doing of things. And sometimes we lose our motivation because we forget why we're doing it in the first place. What you do drives how you do what you do. And so, why you do drives how you do what you do. If something is important to you, then it's more likely you're going to be more committed to it. And I will give you an example for myself, my why. I coach high-performing women. I coach women who own their own businesses and run teams who have career histories of 15, 20, 25 years. And now they want to shift gears and they want to refocus themselves on what matters. And I chose to focus on this group because I understand how quickly a high performing woman can get burned out and demotivated and upset, sometimes even a little bitter and angry because they're just so tired. So I connect with that, and I'm committed to helping those clients eliminate those feelings, and then they can proceed with some clarity and excitement and enthusiasm. So again, in the chat, everybody, just for a moment, if you can, what is your why? Do you have a why? Like, can you conjure up what your why is, why you do what you do? Just hit me up in the chat and let's hear what those whys are. And Steve, how you can let us know what your why is, why you do what you do as well.
You know, I discovered a long time ago when I was in, I don't know, 5th grade or so, I was in an essay contest about, you know, what the flag means to me or something like that. And so I did my essay and it got a really good grade. And my teacher told me that she submitted into a contest and it won a statewide contest. And I got to read this essay at a VFW with all of these veterans around me. And there was this one guy who came up to me who had been in World War II and, you know, had tears in his eyes. And he's like, I'm so thankful that, you know, everything that I did really meant something to someone else, you know, in a younger generation. And I felt like, you know, words are so powerful that this is something that I have a talent for and I should work with. And I've kind of cultivated that over the years. And that's why I got into doing what I do.
That's amazing. I love that story. And that gave me goosebumps. Thank you, Steve. I'm going to just read a few that came up in the chat. So it's very rewarding work. I love helping people to be able to stay at home with my son, my family, and providing for them. Ruth says, because I'm really good at what I do. And I love that. Straight face, period at the end of that sentence. To change and get ready to move back to Australia. I love helping people work with their writing to polish their message. That's my why. Empowering professional women with what I know about money and finance. Love that. To provide for my family, be a good example. For my why is because I'm enough and I deserve freedom and growing my business and what my business provides. And then one more, my why is rewarding and to enrich women, but also providing continuing income through retirement. Awesome. These are all great. These are all deep, emotionally connected. And you notice the why is not about money. The why is not about tangible things. The why is about how you feel. And that's what drives us as people. Okay. So reinventing your clients. Some of you may have heard of this concept of bread and butter, cream and dream clients. If you have, you can go ahead and put yes or no in the chat. But this is a concept that floats around BNI. Some of us have heard of it. Some of us have not. If you haven't, that's okay. And it might just be a really great aha for you this morning. But today we're going to define them and we're going to dig a little bit into them so that you can get a clear picture of who you're going after. And that helps your chapter understand who they need to go after for you. And in defining these, you're going to start to reinvent who these clients are. You're going to get the tools and the ideas to be able to reinvent them so you can bring back some of that excitement, some of that motivation, move past that plateau. So bread and butter, cream, and dream clients. Your bread and butter clients, these are your everyday bulk of your business clients. This is kind of keep the lights on, you know what you're doing, can do with your eyes closed. Your cream clients make your month. So if you get one of these, you got your month made, right? And then your dream clients, if you got one of these, they would make your year. Now, by identifying these clients, you're able to not only get very specific, and we talk about that a lot in BNI, is specificity with our referrals. You're not only able to get specific about who you're serving so you can go after them, but now you're training your fellow chapter members on how to find you the best referrals. So now you've got double, like sort of a double workforce behind you and trying to reinvigorate how you feel about your clients and your business. And that's why we're here. Like we train our fellow chapter members through our weekly presentations and our one-to-ones on how to look for and listen for these ideal clients. So the clearer you are on these 3 categories, the clearer everyone else will be. And because if we don't know who they are, how can we expect anyone to help us find them, right? So specificity can unlock and unleash your excitement and motivation. I promise you, the more specific and clear you get about who your clients are, you're going to get more excited about them. All right, let's start with bread and butter. Bread and butter, everyday bulk of your business. I like to call these the day-to-day, keep your lights on, you know what they need, eyes closed service. If anybody has a bread and butter client, go ahead and put it into the chat. I'd love to know if you who's identified that for themselves. For me, it's women who are looking for a career pivot. That's my bread and butter. I know how to work with them. I understand what they're going through. And I have seen, felt, and even experienced myself what it feels like to be ready to shift into a new line of work. So if you have new to Medicare clients, travelers to the airport in Chicago for business, any other bread and butter clients that you might have, go ahead and pop them into the chat. Now, if you haven't defined it, it's okay, right? That's why we're here. It's because this is the exercise of this. If you've never done this, trust me when I tell you that simply defining and understanding your B&B clients can be enough for you to get motivated and moving. When you have a picture of who you're going after, you can start to connect with them. Your brain is now getting wired to start to look for and listen for them. And that in and of itself can be really motivating and exciting. Great, this is great. So, whoops, get into the chat. We're getting some small businesses, professionals who are tired of living paycheck to paycheck. I love that. That's great. That's great. Now, how can you start to see your everyday bulk of business, keep the lights on, clients in a different way? Help them see them and you as new. So one of the things you can do is you can ask yourself, what's changed about my bread and butter clients in the past 1, 5, or 15 years? Chances are they're not the same people. And if you have long-term clients that you've been working with for this long, dollars to donuts, I would bet these individuals have changed. Their needs have changed. They've grown, they've expanded, their values have changed. And so understanding how they have changed might be able to help you see them as new. The better part of this is what's changed about you. I know for me, as I've gone through my business as a trainer, as leading learning and development, like e-learning programs, now as a coach, now I'm coaching leaders in leadership positions in large organizations, I have changed. So what I'm able to offer them is very different now than it was before, even 6 months ago, a year ago. So imagine if you look at the sort of trajectory and growth of yourself over time, how have you changed? That means you get to offer your clients something new and something different. Now, this foundational level of client can become very easy, and that's something that creates that feeling of staleness. And I will tell you, I'll be very honest with all of you, that if you feel bored or you've plateaued with them, chances are they're bored and plateaued with you. But they might not have expressed that to you. And I will give you an example. I was with an insurance company for my renter's insurance for, I don't know, 10, 12 years. They were fine. They did fine. They gave me what I needed. Every year we renewed. I had an email with the person. But my life transformed quite a bit in the last 3.5 years. I moved from New York to Seattle. I got married. My life I opened my own business. So things just shifted. The way I saw the world and myself shifted. But my insurance agent didn't bother asking me any of, hey, how you doing? What's new? What's going on? I ended up changing insurance agents to the gentleman that's in our chapter. And I think he might be on our call. And the reason being is I heard so many testimonials for him about how easy it was to work for him and how much he cared about his clients. And I thought, maybe I should switch over. And it was a no-brainer for me. If I am the everyday bread and butter client for my former insurance agent, and they are bored with me, I was very bored with them. There was nothing exciting for me, or not exciting, but there was nothing redeeming or of high value that kept me there and compelled me to stay. And so I found something else. So it's worthwhile for you to look at how your clients have changed. This is one way to re-identify who these B&B clients are. And then the last piece, oops, skipping ahead. The last piece of this is connecting the dots. How do you learn about your clients? If my former insurance agent had sent me an email and said, hey, Zovig, what's new with you? How's everything going? I know you moved. What's your new home like? Talk to me. It would have made such a difference. But there are many ways you can reconnect with these folks. You can call them up. You can survey them. You can hold mini focus groups to find out what's going on with them. Or you could just send them a personalized email and see what's happening in their lives and what they're excited about, so you can get excited with them. I don't know, Steve, have you ever experienced you feeling bored with somebody who was providing you a service and you're like, I might need to shift this a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes we take our clients for granted a little bit, and you just expect that work is going to come in. And what happens is you tend to kind of just wait for it to happen rather than working towards keeping them as a client and staying interested in what they do.
Yeah, yeah. So that's our bread and butter client. And if you haven't defined who this person is, you might know it intuitively, but write it down on paper, because the clearer you are on these people, the easier and more interesting it is for you to go after them. So now we're going to move into our cream clients. If you got one, it would make your month. Now, why would you classify them as a cream client? That's the question that I always thought of. Okay, it would make my month, but why? This is where you start to get connected to a little bit of the why. Defining how they make your month. This has got to be about more than money. If all of you remember in the chat at the beginning, your whys, none of them were because I want to make $1 million. I think that the money comes when you are fully invested in what you're doing and interested and excited and committed to it. The money rolls in because you're doing your best work. So from a cream client perspective, if your month was made, how would it make your month? Aside from the money, would it be about how you feel? Would it be about how you were challenged? What would be different for you? And actually just pop that into the chat. If you just quickly want to think about your cream client, or if you have already defined that, how did they make your month? And what's so special about this person for you? And how would you serve them differently? What is it about this client that makes them different? Now, when you go for more than a feeling, this is the cool part, when you go for more than money and you start thinking about your feelings around this, this is what's going to really infuse your weekly presentations and your one-to-ones with interesting information, so people know what to look for. You start talking about the feelings that the testimonials, what your clients have said to you about your work. If you share that in your weekly presentation, my cream client is this, and I had one say to me recently that they felt this way about the work I did for them. These are all bits and pieces you can start to bring together into your BNI experience, so that now your chapter is looking for your cream client, right? Forget the bread and butter, put them to the side for a moment. You want them to start searching for the big guns for you. So cream clients, from the chat, Sally says, these clients are investing more in me and my services and expertise. Let's see, cream clients challenge me, and I like that. I love that. Thanks, Ashwin. Helping someone enrich their dreams or challenges in their life. New group clients, cream clients are loyal. Let's see. What about folks like, there's a question actually, I'm just going to read this out loud. What about folks like me that have bigger price points but fewer transactions per month? That's a bread and butter question. Everyone's bread and butter clients are different. Bread and butter doesn't have to be like this everyday high volume. Bread and butter can be sort of if that's your baseline client, the bigger price points, fewer transactions per month, that's okay. That just means, Dan, that your cream is even higher than that. And then when we get to your dream, oh, that's going to be big, right? I hope I answered that question. And then let's see, one or two, giving back to the cream clients, giving back to the community. All right, so cream clients. Now there's a bonus here around a cream client. You can get to the point where your cream clients turn into your bread and butter clients, where you get so good at serving this level of individual that now they become your everyday, keep the lights on, I got this kind of a client. I don't know if anyone's ever experienced that. Maybe Steve, you have, where suddenly your rarer bird suddenly becomes like, oh, I'm getting more and more of these now. Like you've sort of up leveled
Yeah,
yourself.
and I think that's an important point to make, is that, when we start out, I mean, when I started in my chapter, when I started my copywriting business, I was just saying yes to everybody,
Yeah.
and everybody was a small business. And then out of the blue, I got a hit on my website, and it was for, a large local hospital that wanted me to do some work for them. And I started getting in a lot of work from them, which was great, but it wasn't organized. It was coming from different departments. And I asked for a meeting there to kind of figure out how we can streamline the process so I could be, more efficient at what I do. And so I took this big, scary project and turned it into something that was really manageable, and was at a price point much higher than I was charging everyone else. And everybody was satisfied. It's been a client of mine for many years now.
Yeah. I've experienced, I'm actually in the process of experiencing the cream client becoming more of a regular client, that sort of senior director, VP level in the workplace, leading larger teams. That's becoming more of my regular experience. So it's a good feeling, but again, you can't find them unless you know who they are and get very serious and clear about who they are. So you get a pen and write down how these people make your month, what's so special about them, and what it is about you that you do to serve them differently.
I love, by the way, that you're talking about this, because this is something that members don't always do in BNI. They talk about bread and butter all the time and not what they're aspiring to get to.
It's easy to do that because bread and butter is quick, fast. And sometimes and I'm going to get to this in Dream, but sometimes as entrepreneurs, business owners, professionals, we can get very easily caught up in the to-dos of things and the tactics of things because it doesn't challenge us. And we know we can do it. And well, I have to pay the bills.
Right.
I have to pay the college tuition. I have to pay that mortgage. I have to. And the have to's get in the way of the get to's. And then we forget what the get-tos are. And then we're like, oh, why am I so bored with my clients and my business? Why have I plateaued? Because everything's become a have to and no longer a get to, right? So thank you for that. All right, so let's move into dream clients. This is one where if you got one, this person would make your year. Now I'm really curious, who has defined their dream client? Anybody here? And I will share mine with you in a moment, but I'd love to know. Do you have a dream client, Steve?
I do. I actually did one small job for them about 5 years ago. They work with it's actually Drupal, the kind of a WordPress company, that's that type of thing. And I did some really great work with them, and they have me on their radar with some, where I'm like the overspill guy. But I'm waiting for my opportunity to go in there because that would change everything for me.
Yeah, I love that. So we have a few in the chat. Landing a government contract, a $9 million listing. Yes, Dan, I love it. Angel 200 person group, grant driven for at least 5 years. Someone said, Tina says, not yet, but I'm expanding my horizons. Tina, now's your moment to expand your horizons. Get expansion. Multi-location businesses, new tech software, service business owners that are coachable and value advice and are willing to refer. And then Sally said, not yet specific, but one that would provide significant steady stability in my business for less scrambling. She calls it an evergreen job. $100,000 charitable donor. Okay, these are great. Okay, so how the hell do you define a dream client? I mean, there are times I don't know if all of you have experienced this, but when I have no parameters, it's really hard for me to put a stake in the ground. If you're in the creative industry, when you have no creative brief, no like guardrails or sort of skeleton or shell of something, it's hard to create, right? So one of the toughest questions I ask my clients is, well, what do you want? And they're just like, ugh, I don't know, because it seems so big and unwieldy. And again,
as you're growing your business, what was your dream client actually kind of becomes a cream client, and then you kind of move to the next level.
That's right. Yeah, the dream client gets bigger and bigger. So wherever all of you are in your businesses and your work right now, here are some questions you can use to ask to get to your dream client. Okay, are you ready? Okay. What client scares the bejesus out of you? Like you're like, oh no, I could never go after them. Who would make you stretch yourself? Like, Steve, you've been copywriting for, forever. Like, what would make you have to go research new information, talk to new people, and bring in new elements to your work that you've never done before?
Yeah, so I am terrible with numbers, and I have had many, many offers from financial companies to work with, and I've passed them off to other people. And as I pass them off, I'm seeing really big tickets for this stuff. If I could just kind of wrap my head around it and feel more confident in doing it, that would change things for me.
Yeah, yeah. Who would really, so this is someone's going to really push you out of your comfort zone. And who have you been delaying going after? Like who are you, who this person or this company is, and I'll get to them, I'll get to them, I'll get to them. That's your dream client right there. And what is it about them that makes you wait? So you notice I'm not talking about money in any of these, like who's going to get you high ticket, again, the money comes when you are doing high quality, high level work for high quality, high level clients. But when you start to look at your dream client from a place of what's really going to push me to grow and expand. And I think there was somebody that said, I'm still expanding. These are the questions that are going to get you to expand who you're into that dream client. Full confession, full transparency. I have an identified dream client. She is the VP of culture, people and culture at a national coffee company. I actually we were in the sorority together in college. Yes, I was a sorority girl. And we were in sorority together. She was a couple years ahead of me. I know her. If we passed each other on the sidewalk, we would hug, say hello, catch up. And I have been delaying contacting her because it scares the bejesus out of me a little bit. But now that I'm sitting here in front of all of you, I know that that's no longer an option. But that's who we're talking about when we're talking about a dream client. So is anybody feeling stumped about a dream client? Like, oh, I don't even know where to start. It's just too much. It's just too big.
Well, it's interesting. I bet there are a lot of people, because until I saw a presentation like this before, I never thought of even doing that. To me, I was stuck in bread and butter, and then once in a while, a dream client was plenty. But really, to expand and to do more, you have to think like this.
Yeah, you do. And this is the stuff that's the non-tangible thinking work that business owners, that professionals, entrepreneurs, but if you're working, if you're making money, we have to take the time and carve out the time to do the thinking, creative work that doesn't immediately bring in the money and pay the bills, but will send our businesses further. It will send us out there into the world. It will make us more visible. And sometimes that's intimidating. Oh, if I work with this VP of people and culture at this national coffee company, I'm going to be more visible. Am I ready to handle that? My answer is yes. I'm ready for that. So no more delaying. All of you have my commitment that I will be reaching out to that person today.
So Zovig, let me ask this question.
Yeah.
I'm seeing some answers coming up here. If you are in a B2B business like I am, it's easy for me to target a company.
Yeah.
But if you're B2C and your ideal client is maybe a demographic that you're trying to hit, how do you work that?
Well, I mean, you start with, so give me an example, actually. Let me ask you that.
Yeah, all right. Let's say I'm an Arbonne rep and I do skincare products, right? And I want to work with someone who would be an ideal client because they're going to give me a lot of business. But all I can do is talk about what their characteristics are of that person, but I don't have a specific company name or a buyer, someone that I can get in and meet.
The first thing you have to do is get very clear on who that person is, what it is about them, where they are, what they do, how they spend their time, where you find them, right? So if you don't write that down and get very clear on where in the world that person exists, you won't be able to get to them. If you're selling a product like Arbonne, your goal is to get mass, right? To get as much product sold as possible, to meet as many people as possible. So who do you know that knows a lot of people? And then you go to them and you say, I'm expanding my business. I'm looking to target this kind of person who does this, who is in this type of business and struggles with these problems. And I know that you know a lot of them, right? So you might not be able to go directly to that person. You might need to go to a person who knows the person. Or you
Yeah,
might need to join an organization where that person is, connecting and exists. Does that answer the question?
yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
something that we rarely do, but you know what? We've heard this 2 weeks in a row. Remember last week, Tom Fleming was saying,
Yes.
I'm expanding my business and I need your help. Right? This is what we need to do. And that is the scary part, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, I'm expanding my business and I need your help. And I actually use that by the way, I use that during the week because it's so easy and so clear. I'm expanding my business. I need your help. Steve, I know you know a million women, high performing women that could potentially use leadership coaching. How about you and I sit down and talk? Would you mind sitting down for 15 minutes with me and talking about how I might be able to connect with and serve them?
Absolutely.
Because Steve is the linchpin between me and my dream client. So I just want to get to the chat. We'll have to do some soul searching. I can't seem to define who my dream client would be. Take some time. Take some time. It's not an immediate. If you can't put it into the chat, it's not a problem. This takes some thinking work. I think I will progress toward that thought implementation process after my regular day job ends in December. Great. If you need to responsibly delay defining who your dream client is, that I understand that there's a delay and then there's a responsible delay. Sometimes we have to responsibly wait. And sometimes we're just waiting because we're afraid to kick it into gear. So only you know. And then I worked for one client 7 days a week for 70 days nonstop. That was my dream client for 2020. That's pretty kick-ass. I love that. Okay, so one more question around the dream client that I have. After you've defined who scares the bejesus out of you, where they are, how you're going to stretch as a result of them, what would it change for you, your business and your life, if you got one of these clients? So this is where the feelings come in. What would change for me if I connected with that people and culture officer in the national coffee company? What would it change for me if she said, yeah, let's go. I want you to do some coaching for my leadership. It would, not only would it give me tactically and tangibly more credibility in my business, right? More visibility. It would make me understand how much all of the work that I have done to get to this point is paying off. The level of satisfaction, of personal gratification, of excitement, of pride I would feel is what would change for me. Yes, I'd be making some money, which is awesome. And trust me, that's what I want. But the way I would feel about who I am and what I do and how I talk to other people about who I am and what I do shifts. It just shifts in a moment. Oh, someone's recognizing me. I got the juice to do this. And now let's do it. Let's get this party started. So there's, again, we get into feeling, right? We have to understand how, not only who these people are, but why they're important to us beyond paying the bills, beyond the tactical everyday stuff. What makes it special for who we are as people? How do we connect with these clients? That's where your reinventing, your reinvigorating, your energizing is going to come in. So just a couple of key takeaways for all of you. Clearly and specifically define your 3 types of clients. If you've never done this work, sit down this weekend. 3 different sheets of paper, get a giant Postit board. I mean, giant Post-its are great for if you're visual like I am, and work those out, talk them out with somebody. Look at your clients and yourself through a new lens. How have they changed? How have you changed? Can you downgrade your clients to make more room for new cream and dream? Meaning your cream clients become your bread and butter, your dream client becomes your cream, and now you got a big Magilla gorilla going on in your dream clients box. Dream big, go after what makes you uncomfortable. If it makes you squirm, chances are that's your dream client. And last check in regularly with your why, because your why is the key to your excitement. So that's what I got for you all today. So we're going to move into some Q&A, and I actually have a quick question, and this is kind of where we'll shift into Q&A. What did you learn? Would love to know from you in the chat. What did you learn today? One thing. And what will you do? Because insight is great, but if we're not putting it into action, nothing changes. So what's one action you will take today, even right after we get off this call, that's going to get you closer to your B&B, your cream, and your dream clients?
And I'll tell you, while people are jumping into the chat on this, I think one thing that's important to do, and I haven't done in a while, is revisit that question. Because as your business changes, what you're looking for changes. And so, what I had in the past is not necessarily what I'm looking for in the future.
That's great. Actually, I say that again, Steve. What you had in the past
Is not what I'm looking for in the future.
Yeah, because you're different. Your capacity to take on bigger responsibility, more visibility, more complexity in your clients, it's different. You're at a different level now. And I have some pretty high level, high performing people in my chapter. I know for a fact that who they were 5 years ago is not at all who they are today as professionals. So yeah, who you are then is not at all who you are today. That's a really big deal. So we do have some answers in the chat. Some of that too scared delay, right? Tina will do a lot of writing today. Marie Jo's going to do some client segmentation. Awesome. Angel, defining the details of the clients I would like to have. April says, always a great reminder to reconnect with my why. Sebastian says, 3 sheets of paper with 3 types of clients. Make it fun. Make it art class. Get your markers out and make it art class. Reminded me about the importance of our why, defining both dream clients and cream clients. It's like a tongue twister. I found that what I don't know about a potential client's written content needs is a challenge to be embraced, to learn the client's needs in a way the client needs it done. I love that as a challenge that needs to be embraced, right? And not sort of, I'm not ready for that yet. No, let's like bring it in. I'm ready for it. What else? Whoops. What else we got? Spending some time reviewing my daily actions that lead to cream and dream referrals. I'm going to define my ideal clients into 3 groups and include them on my vision board. Debbie, that's great. Get it up in front of you all around my computer. I've got like my core values. I've got who my 3 clients are. I've got sayings that actually really inspire you. So these are all motivating. All right. I'm going to keep going. If you are in B2B, continue to do periodic business reviews with your clients. Yep, Ashwin, keep connecting with your clients. What's new? What's changed? How can I serve you? If you ask your client, what's exciting you today? You're going to get so much information from them. What are you working on that's exciting for you right now? They're either going to tell you nothing. I'm so busy. I'm so miserable. I'm so this. And then you can swoop in and go, how can I help? Or they're going to say, I'm working on this expansion or I'm working to change this piece about my life. We've just moved into a new home and we're super excited and we need more support in that way. So business to business or business to customer, business to consumer, it can go both directions. I don't think we have any questions though, which is okay.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times,
Yeah.
people are just inspired and they've got homework to do.
Yeah.
I don't see anything specific, but if anyone wants to ask something specific, now is your chance. But it looks like people have got their marching orders and they're ready to do some work on their business.
One other, I just want to read the last one. Donna says, I'm going to take this information to the CEO and the board members for our planning session for next year. That's big time. That's big time, Donna. I love it. And actually, there is a question. How do you identify your power partners? Ashwin asks that. Well, I would say your power partners are the ones who are going to be interacting with your bread and butter, cream, and dream clients. So for me, a power partner is going to be somebody who's in HR, an HR consultant, someone who works in talent and development, people and culture in organizations, because they are the ones that are going to bring me regular coaching engagements. Hey, so we got Zovig. She's one of our lead coaches here. We bring her in when we've just promoted somebody to a director or a new level of leadership. So think about who are the people who are regularly coming into contact with your specifically defined bread and butter, cream and dream clients. It's not just who are the people that are coming into contact with people I can work with. It's who are touching the people I want to work with. And the clearer you are about who those people are, the clearer you are about who your power partners are going to be. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, cool. All right, so one last thing, just want to share my contact information. I'm Zovig at Boldness Ablaze. You can reach me at boldnessablazecoaching.com. There's my phone number, and I'm in the Eastside Connection chapter. I'm always open for one-to-ones. Would love to connect with people, power partners or not. That's why we're here, is to do this together. So thank you so much, everybody.